Have you ever looked at an old penny and thought, it's just 1 cent? What if I told you that one dusty little 1929 wheat penny, a coin most people toss into drawers or ignore completely, sold at auction for over $100,000? Yes. 1 cent. 6 figures. Right now, that same coin could be hiding in your home. In an old family collection. In a forgotten drawer. Or maybe, just maybe, already in your hand. But here's the twist, only a handful of people know what makes this specific 1929 penny so valuable. And by the end of this video, you'll be one of them. Let's start at the beginning. The year is 1929. Wall Street crashes. The Great Depression begins. Jobs are lost. Banks close. But even in that chaos, the U.S. Mint quietly continued production of the humble Lincoln wheat cent, never imagining that nearly a century later, one of those coins would become a numismatic treasure. The 1929 penny was struck in 2 locations, Philadelphia and San Francisco. Most were circulated heavily, used in grocery stores, train stations, and payphones during one of America's darkest economic times. But a few, just a few, escaped the clutches of time. They were tucked away, untouched. And some of them, incredibly, remained in mint state condition. That's where the story changes. One 1929 wheat penny, discovered in near-perfect condition, graded MS67 red by PCGS, made headlines when it sold for a record-breaking $105,800 at auction. A coin that once bought a loaf of bread during the Depression is now worth more than a luxury SUV. So, what made this penny so valuable? First, condition. The vast majority of 1929 pennies were circulated and worn down. Finding one with full mint luster, strong strike, and flawless surfaces is like finding a time capsule. Second, color. Collectors prize red cents, those that have retained their original fiery copper tone. Most old pennies have darkened over time. But if yours still shines with that minty orange-red glow, it could be worth a fortune. Third, rarity at high grade. Plenty of 1929 pennies exist. But in MS67 red? Only one known. And when there's only one, collectors will pay anything. Now think about it, how many old pennies have passed through your hands over the years? How many have you stashed away in jars, never to be looked at again? One of them could be this penny. Let's talk mint marks. If you see a small S below the date, that means it was minted in San Francisco, the scarcer version of the 1929 cent. Combine that with perfect surfaces and bold copper shine, and you might be holding a 5 or 6 figure coin. But the Philadelphia version, which has no mint mark, can also bring in serious money, especially if it shows rare mint errors. That's right, there are 1929 wheat pennies with striking errors like off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and doubling. Some of these flaws turn a $1 penny into a $10,000 collector's item. Even more exciting? These errors were rarely documented back then. So when one surfaces now, it's a big deal. But here is where most people go wrong. They clean their coins. Please, don't do it. One swipe with a cloth, one dip in a cleaner, and you can lose tens of thousands of dollars in value instantly. Instead, if you think your 1929 wheat penny might be valuable, handle it by the edges, store it safely, and get it graded by PCGS or NGC. A professional grade isn't just a label, it's your coin's passport to the big leagues. Because when collectors see MS66 red or MS67 red on a certified slab, they know they're looking at a unicorn. Now let's look at the auction scene. The rare coin market is heating up. With gold and silver prices fluctuating, investors are looking for historical, tangible assets, and high-grade coins like the 1929 wheat penny are in demand more than ever. Coin shows, online auctions, and private sales have seen prices triple for top-tier coins in the last few years. And the 1929 penny sits right at the center of that storm. Collectors aren't just paying for metal. They're buying history. A coin that survived the Great Depression. That tells a story of resilience, scarcity, and survival. That's what makes the 1929 wheat penny so compelling. It's not just a coin, it's a symbol. So now the question is, what's hiding in your collection? Now let's talk about something that surprises even seasoned collectors: how few high-grade 1929 wheat pennies actually exist. Remember, this was the start of the Great Depression. Coins were used, reused, and worn into the ground. People didn't save them. They spent them to survive. That means the vast majority of 1929 cents are heavily circulated, scratched, darkened, and dinged from years of use. So when a gleaming, untouched copper cent surfaces from that era, collectors go absolutely wild. And rightly so. Because the population report for MS-67 read 1,929 wheat pennies stands out just one coin. That's it. And it already sold. But the second one? It hasn't been found yet. Maybe it's sitting in an old shoebox. Maybe it's waiting in your change jar. You won't know until you check. Even coins graded MS-65 red or MS-66 red are rare and can fetch $10,000 to $30,000 depending on the market. And values are only climbing as more collectors enter the space, competing for fewer top-tier coins. Here's something else to keep in mind: coin grading is everything. Two coins can look nearly identical to the naked eye, but one might grade 2 levels higher and be worth 10 times more. That's why sending it to a reputable grading service isn't optional. It's essential. And don't worry, you don't need to be a numismatist to spot a winner. If you find a 1929 penny that still gleams, with sharp details and no obvious wear, you've got something special. Even if it's not MS-67, it could still be a highly valuable piece of history. But what if your coin isn't perfect? What if it has a strange feature or flaw? That could be a good thing. Mint errors from 1929 are not widely catalogued, making every new discovery a potential headline. Double strikes, die breaks, and planchet clips are some of the most desirable and can catapult a coin's value instantly. Take off-center strikes, for example. A 1929 cent struck 20 to 50% off-center with a full date and mint mark can be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars, even in lower condition. The key is rarity and visibility. The more dramatic the error, and the better its condition, the more collectors will pay. And it's not just about money. Owning a rare 1929 penny is like holding a piece of American resilience. This coin survived the Dust Bowl, the bread lines, and the worst financial collapse in U.S. history. And now, it might survive in your hands as a generational asset. That's why people collect. Not just to profit, but to preserve. To honor a legacy. To hold history. But of course, the money doesn't hurt. Especially when a 1-cent coin could cover your rent for a year, pay off your student loans, or fund a once-in-a-lifetime vacation. And here's the reality: there are fewer and fewer of these coins being discovered every year. As old estates are cleared out, and collections are passed down or liquidated, the best examples are being snapped up and locked away by high-end collectors. Which means the window is closing. Every year you wait is another chance lost. Every unexamined coin is a question mark. And every collector who acts now is getting ahead of the curve. Let's talk preservation. If you find a promising 1929 wheat penny, store it properly. Use a soft plastic coin flip or an acid-free holder. Keep it away from heat, moisture, and human hands. Copper is sensitive. It reacts. One fingerprint can lower the grade, and the price. And if you're not sure what you're looking at, don't guess. Consult a professional. Local coin shops, online forums, and certified appraisers can help guide you before you submit for grading. Because make no mistake, this isn't just copper. It's potential. It's history. And for a lucky few, it's wealth. So let me ask you again. How many 1929 pennies are sitting in your home, completely ignored? How many have you walked past at flea markets, garage sales, or antique shops? That next overlooked coin might be the one that makes headlines. That puts your name in the auction books. That changes your life. Because the 1929 wheat penny isn't just about the past. It's about what you do next.